Welcome to my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/MyWebUniversity. On this screen that you're seeing, the video tabs, and then a lot of the tabs and video tabs is the current tab. So basically, I have posted two videos, this one and this one. And the first one was Anaconda on Kali Linux, just installation, command lines and everything. And then that was like 2 days ago. And yesterday I posted the Anaconda Navigator, which is also there. Today is Sunday, as you can see, 12:15. I'm putting a third video, which is on Windows platform, Anaconda on Windows platform. So basically, my idea is to help you out on installation of Anaconda command line as well as graphical, which is Anaconda Navigator on both Linux platform and Windows platform. So we did cover two videos on Anaconda on Kali Linux already for command line in the Navigator desktop. I'm going to be covering today the third video, which is for Windows platform. So let's go through the PowerPoint presentation here. We're gonna go through our slideshow, and I'm going to just show you what I covered last time on Kali Linux already. And these are just kind of a thumbnail for the video that I have already showed you earlier. This is for Anaconda Navigator, and steps were done there. And then I just thank you on those videos for your subscription. Today, I'm going to be talking about Anaconda on Windows in PowerShell. So this is going to be both Anaconda on command line as well as Anaconda Navigator. If I don't get a time to just show you the Navigator because in one video, then I'm going to make it in two videos, and that way you could have the thumbnail for one for the command line, which would be this one, and then the second one would be for the Anaconda Navigator, which is going to come next. So at this time, I'm going to be just showing on you two different desktop background. One was the blue and one is the red one, but it is the same material. So we're going to be discussing Anaconda on Windows platform and PowerShell command lines. So whether you're using Windows C prompt, which is command prompt, and or the PowerShell terminal that you could just run the commands. For PEP comparison to Conda, you just basically substitute Conda with PEP, or PEP Conda PEP with PEP, or PEP with Conda, depending on which command you want to use. The argument to the command is almost the same in most situation. So they just basically, Anaconda just replace the word PEP to Conda. But the big difference is that the repository of PEP is really huge compared to Conda. And then, in other words, because Python, as you can see, the color of Python, I made these two the same color, meaning that by default, PEP is the default repository of package indexing for Python. And then whenever you install commands within Python, you use PEP by default. But if you have the Anaconda, Anaconda is the company name, and then Conda is a software that you're going to use there. It's an open source for data science and artificial intelligence. And I'll show you some of the packages. With Conda also, our Anaconda repository is also huge, but not as huge as PEP is. However, Anaconda also support for other open source kind of environment or projects, whether you're working on Python or you're working on C, C++, or some other packages. Conda supports, Anaconda supports for both of them. And then Python PEP is only for Python. So that's something that is different. And here, as you can see, when you do a PEP list, major dash object dash L, meaning that give me a line number, it will just do a word count. On the Kali Linux, we did a PEP less than WC dash L. And PowerShell command, there's a command called measure-object commandlet, and then the alias is measure for short. So you could say pep less pipe measure-l, or if you don't provide the -l, then by default it gives you a long listing of the number of word count and the number of characters and all that details. And you can just replace the -l to -c, for example, for character, and -w for word. And the C prompt, just pep less is there. There's no measure or word count similar to this one, because the Windows C command prompt is about 88 commands that you have all together. PowerShell and Linux, they have a lot of thousands of commands and commandlets that you could do. In fact, PowerShell and the default one is about 1800 some commands. Then you could also install other modules and objects. Similarly with Linux, I showed you there's a lot of commands, thousands of them, and then you could also have your own scripting and other modules that you can download and use those arguments to it as well. So for PowerShell, when you do conda, you could do just instead of pep, you do conda. That's basically the difference. I'll show you these ones at the lab activity. So if you're installing Anaconda-Navigator is a software, it's like a desktop. It's almost like an IDE. It's not almost, it is an IDE. Basically, it supports you for IDE that are inside integrated with Anaconda, like Spider, for example. The Spider itself is like a Python kind of software for data science and a lot of artificial intelligence. You could just import Python modules and then start work on it inside the Spider. Similarly, you could do work on PyCharm, for example, Python, which is like an integrated development environment for Python. Similarly, you could work on Visual Studio Code, and then that code was also available for you that you could do code. And then there's a lot of other packages like R programming language, R console, or R studio. If you want to learn R language, just watch my other videos there. And I have a lot of videos on R programming language. Similarly, the Jupyter Lab and Jupyter Notebook, all of those ones, Jupyter Notebook is there, Jupyter Lab is there. And then there's other additional stuff that you can do from Anaconda prompt. From Anaconda prompt, you could just run it from command line and then do it. Some of these ones are already, when you do install the Anaconda Navigator, they have a button launch. You can start it there, or you could say go to the command prompt, and from command prompt type in Jupyter space lab or Jupyter dash notebook to start the notebook, or a Spider just to start Spider, or R to just start R there. And then there's also IPython interactive that you can get some sort of Qt console, so you can get those ones as well. There's a lot of documentation. You have the environment, you have the learning, and then you have the community. When you install the Anaconda, basically your environment is all available for you. And then there's Oracle stuff. You could do it in IBM Cloud and other stuff. And then Anaconda also runs on the cloud. So if you're interested to run it on the cloud, then you could just do that. I want to thank you for those of you that already subscribed to my channel and you're watching this video. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to our channel. And then we would like to appreciate and say thank you to all of those of you that have already subscribed. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and then make some comments so I can help you further. Our videos are not done. This presentation is going to continue. I just have to show you how to get the software and download it and everything, and then install it, and then we cover more on the rest of the video. So on Windows platform. So the first thing you want to do is go to Anaconda website. I'm on the search, so the Anaconda, when you go by default on the Anaconda website, anaconda.org is website. And then you can also go to anaconda.com And then if you just have an account, you can log into your account, and then you can do it online, remote as well. I don't have an account. I'm not affiliated with them, but I want to just show you what Anaconda software open source community provides you, and it is huge. So you can see if you go on the about us, it's millions of developers and data scientists and machine learning operations, other people that are contributing on a daily basis or weekly basis or as much time of them allows it to contribute, they are there. So if I go to the download page here, on the Anaconda download page, and you can see here there's an option to say just submit your request if you want to just get an email or something. I'm not interested at this time, so I skip it, and then I go on the download page. So the download page, you can see here, I just did it for Kali Linux last time, and so I did download this one, and then we installed it, and I showed you on those other videos. But today I'm going to show you this 64-bit graphical installer, which is the Windows platform that we could just download it and get it. So I already downloaded this graphic, and I have it available. And so what you need to do is just go to your download directory, because when you download these ones, it will come, and then the file that is available is right here. Anaconda 2024 version 10.1. So you double click on this one, and then that will start the installation. And then you can see here that it is Anaconda version 2024 Windows x86 64. That on x86 64 is important. So if I go here, it says CMD, and then I say system info, and then find /I and search for my model or picture of the CPU, you can see it is a 64-bit operating system, Intel 64-bit family. And then obviously I have 3.4 gigahertz in the speed, and I have enough memory to install it. You need to make sure you have and the hard disk stuff. You can see that I have at least 32 gig free, and then at the same time, I can just clean up something if I want to just clean up further and do it. And then at the same time, if I go on memory, clear screen, and then say, look at the memory, I have 32 gig of memory. That means that the 21 gig is available for physical. So I have enough resources. You need hard disk to install software. You need memory to load the operating system, as well as the Anaconda software, and as well as the modules and the IDEs to just run them. And you need also the second thing is CPU, the speed, that makes sure the third thing, and that is fast. So now I have a Windows Anaconda welcome page coming in. I just click on next, and then on this one it tells you the agreement. So that's nice because it's in the IDE. It is really in one page. You could just click on agree. On the Kali Linux, as you saw it on, it was like all text based, so you had to type and keep pressing more. Here's a dialog box, and that is easier to just say, read it, and then just agree on it. This installation by default, it says, since I have a Windows operating system, it says, do you want to install it under just the local drive that is under user Wahid in this case? Then I could just say, yeah, just go ahead with this one. Or I could say, no, I want to install it no matter what. I'm going to install it with the required admin privileges. So this one, if I do it with admin privilege, then I have to just make sure that I have access to that one as administrator. That means if a user A login or user B login, they all can just use Anaconda. This is a local desktop, so I could be fine with this one, but I want to test this one to see what is the options for administrator. Is there any security requirement that is has to be checked? And then if it does, it's going to prompt me. Right here, you can see it is already saying that the publisher is Anaconda. Do you want to trust it? I say yes, I'm going to trust it. And now notice the program files, program data is in this case is the path. So program data is the where it wants to install it by default. I'm going to just say, go ahead, install it under program data and then Anaconda 3, that's fine. And then we're going to just say some of the packages on options that are there. It says create a shortcut to the package. That's good. It's checked already. Register Anaconda as the system Python 3.12. So 3.12 is the latest one that they want to just register it here. Recommended, and I just checked that one. This one, clear the package code upon completion. Recommended, restore recover some disk space. Yeah, just go ahead, clear it, and recover some disk space. I just don't want to have extra packages left over that I have to just clean the space later. So if the system knows what are those packages and it is going to clear it from the cache when you don't need it, it's a good idea. Now it's doing the start up the package and cache, setting up the package and cache. I'm a little bit away from the screen, so it's harder to read all of those ones, but forgive me if I just read it differently than what it is written there. Okay, so this process may take a while. I'm going to just pause the video, and then when it stops, I'm going to come back to it. Okay, the installation completed. So while the installation was going on, I just went and took the Anaconda logo out here and then pasted onto the presentation here with this page also showing. So this is going to be the thumbnail for this one, and this slide is no longer needed. And then the main slide that is this one, that would be the slide that will be just going to display when it is there, which means that I'm going to show you the Anaconda software, which is command prompt like these ones. You can see that is Anaconda. When you just download the Anaconda 32, you get the command prompt as well as for the Conda as well as the Navigator, which is the whole video is in one. So I'm not going to make another video. I'm going to just post this one, and then you will be seeing that presentation here. Now let's continue with the installation here. We're going to say that, okay, this is good. It's everything you love, Anaconda and this and that. So a lot of the information here that is there, just read it. Make sure that the default options, if you just say launch Anaconda Navigator, getting started with Anaconda distribution. This option, when I don't need to just do it, or I could just say, go ahead, launch it after that. I could also go and look for the module on the startup and then get it from there. So now notice that I click on the launch the Navigator and say, go ahead, finish it. It should start right here. You see it's loading and then features, channels, and all of that. The Anaconda option comes in here. You could also just have a startup Anaconda like logo here or icons that you could just click on it, and then that way you could get that one. So this is the first time when it shows up, it gives you this information, and then you say, no, don't show this again. Now I'm connected to Anaconda here, Anaconda Navigator. This is the desktop version of it. There's the graphical interface, which has a lot of the IDEs like PyCharm Professional. You can just click on install to install it. Anaconda AI Navigator for artificial intelligence AI modules. So you could do that one. And then as you go here on the list, you can see Anaconda prompt. And then some of them, when it is there, it just gives you a prompt. Say, go ahead, click on it, and then just launch it, as you can see. Let me make this screen a little bit smaller. That way, it is too huge here. I can only see one of them, and then even though this is option that it's good for videos, you can see them. And so PyCharm Professional install, and then Anaconda AI install. But Anaconda Toolbox is just available. You can launch it, and Anaconda Cloud, you can launch it to go to the cloud. And Anaconda Prompt, which I'm going to show you that one. And Jupyter Lab, you can launch it. Yeah, I'm going to show you that. And then Jupyter Notebook, which I'm going to show you, you can launch it. By default, these are already installed, so you just use them as you go. And then PyCharm Community is also available for you, and that is PyCharm IDE. That whenever you do it, I had showed you videos on PyCharm, Visual Studio Code, Jupyter Lab, Jupyter Notebook with Python, and then interactive Python. All of that one is there. The Spider is a very good tool, kind of IDE for scientific Python development environment. So you could just get a very nice IDE and do it. I will show you that one. Visual Studio Code, I've already shown you those ones. If it is available, you can just click on it to launch it, and then that way you could do that one. EduBlock is just a new environment on that one. I haven't used it. And then Watson is for the IBM stuff. Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, that's for Oracle data scientists. And then Watson is the IBM version of AI stuff, as you know. And then Python Anywhere, these are other two tools that are there, PyScript, and there's a lot of stuff, right? Command.exec, command prompt, just to run a command prompt. And then console shortcuts, you have a lot of them. These ones, if you want to install command lines, you could just click on it, install. So at the same time, PowerShell prompt, if you want to just, you can use PowerShell from your system prompt, or just go to inside here and run PowerShell commands. And then I'll show you some of these shortcuts. So this one is installed if you want to install it, or if it is not there. And then RStudio is also available if you want to install the package. But I have a lot of them already installed. I'm not gonna install those ones. So like if I want to go to RStudio here, I just go to RStudio. This is the Windows version that I'm running it, and I demoed that one, RStudio, on Linux as well as Windows. A lot of the databases and everything, I did that one there. And then this is our console, then you could just use that one. And then for visual PowerShell, for example, this is PowerShell, and you can see the 7.4 version that is there. You can run all the PowerShell command here. But by default, like if you say path here, my path is, equal percentage path percentage. Since we're on the PowerShell, and this is going to be env equal $sign env, and then $sign env colon path, and that would give you the path for the environment variables. But if I'm on the CMD command prompt, the echo percentage path will give you that information. Whether you type in lowercase or uppercase, Windows is not case sensitive. But Linux, you have to do $sign path. And then notice the variable or under the environment, and then sub commands are there under this. And then here, if I go clear screen here, type in set, I get all the information on Windows. So let me close this one. We don't need to do RStudio. We don't need to do PowerShell from here, but I'm going to try to show you some of them here. So the first thing that we want to do is, you also have under the home, and you have the environments. So all the environments for the Anacondas, the name, the description of the packages, the versioning, all the information is there. You could also search in the environment, and then I will show you also the command lines here. Under the learning, you have a lot of stuff that you could say learn Anaconda, and then Amazon Web Services, and then Anaconda, Jupyter, the Conda Forge, and then this is also on the command line whenever you just download. As I showed you on Python uses PEP, which is millions of packages, modules are available. And so with hundreds of thousands, maybe whatever, maybe some millions now. But Conda Forge is a little bit like the repository that is covering everything that is not on the base. So that it is a lot more than just the base. You can search for Conda Forge there. And then Numba documentation, and then Matplotlib, but these are the Python modules, the Jupyter Lab documentation, NumPy, scientific modules, pandas, and then PyCharm, PyVZ. There's a lot here on the learning, so you can go on and then start learning, right? So at this time, let's get to just the prompt here. See if I go on the home, and then I want to just go jump into the prompt. So there was here an Anaconda prompt here, and then it says launch. So I'm going to click on this one to launch it, and notice that I'm just getting onto the prompt. So by default, I'm on the base. So if I say conda, all these arguments are available with conda that you can see: conda info, conda build, conda clean, conda list, conda, a lot of these arguments, right? You could do any of them. This conda is similar to PEP. So conda list, it will just give you a list of all the packages that are currently already installed on this. So if I say, since I'm on a prompt and it's administrator, it is just command prompt. I cannot do a measure here because this is not PowerShell. So if I just open a command prompt and I go to the directory where conda path is, and remember that conda path was provided. So if I say conda info, it is going to show me all the information about conda, and then whatever is the conda directory. This is the conda active new environment is program data and a conda tree. So if I just go open a command prompt and just say cd to c colon program data, and then Anaconda 3, then at this time I could type in this, and you can see some of the commands that are available here or accessible here. So what I could do is say under this one, let's say conda. If I just type in conda, it's not understood here because my path, remember the path is not set. So in order for me to set the path, I could go to my prompt and just set the path manually and then run the conda commands from there. Yes, I could do that one. But at this time, let me just use this one first. Then we can set the path at a different time. So I'm gonna minimize it here because by default, if you just say go ahead and install it on this one, I want to show you what is already in the graphical interface. So most people, they don't know these commands. If you don't know these commands, I don't want to waste your time showing you things that I showed you on Linux and how to do it on Windows and how to do it in PowerShell, how to do it in the command prompt. All of that one is useless, right? But if you don't have it, yes, you can configure it. But if the environment is here within the Anaconda already provided, why don't we use that one? That's a better option. So I say conda and then info and then dash E. E meaning that show me the environments. So currently I have only one environment, which is the base. And then if I want to just create another environment, I can just run, say, conda and then create command. Remember, conda has a lot of options. So let me make this screen a little bit bigger. It's too small, I think. So Control Shift, Control Plus is not making it, but I'm going to right click here, go to properties and change fonts. and then the font is 16, I'm gonna make it like 20. 20 is good, and then now I can see it better, so clear screen, and that's a command prompt. So conda info, and then dash E was giving me the environment. You could also say dash dash eggs. That would give me the same information. Or you could say dash S for system, or dash dash system. So this is all the Conda system information. You could get like Conda info and dash dash help to see all the options, like the dash dash JSON, dash E for N, dash S for system, or dash dash system. The short one would be dash S, the short one would be dash E, and the long one would be dash dash ENV and dash dash system. Similarly, if you want to get verbose information, you could do it dash dash JSON will give you the JSON information and so on. So if I get, say, conda info dash dash JSON and Java script object notation format, these are like arrays, the structure and list kind of data in other languages and JavaScript. It allows you these kind of this one is a sorry, this is a list, and then right here, the list starts somewhere here, inside here, and then this is a dictionary that is basically in the dictionary is key pair value. This is the key, and this is value. This is the key, this is the value, and then this array channels has these channel sub 0 would be this one, channel sub n would be that one, whatever that n number is, 4 or 5 or something. So here on this information, again, because we started the list, that is just key pair value again here. Then later on, it just to have another kind of attributes for it, or this is kind of like a double array pointer. So this is closing some other one somewhere right here. It starts right here. This is that. It's not double. It's just an array of index of those two elements. And similarly, these other objects. So the JSON has these formats, and you can see here this all JSON stuff. Why am I showing you that one? Because when you say conda list, by default you have a lot of Python modules already installed. And so if I just say conda list and then Python, that would give me the version of Python that is installed here. And if I just say, well, is Python is 3.12, can I just build another environment inside in this base, and then create it and say, I want to get the Python 3.11. So yes, you could do that and say, for example, conda create dash n for name, or you could just say dash dash name. That would be equivalent to dash short for name. So you could say dash name and then the name of the channel. So let's call it Py 311. That would be I want to install Python version 3.11. So this is the current one is 12, which is the version that we have here. As you can see, Python 3.12 is the version, but I want to just build another environment with the create command, and the name is Python 3.11, and then I want to just install version 3.11 Python. So let's press enter. And it's creating the environment, as you can see here. Then it tells me that do you want to continue? I say yes, continue. I'm gonna resize this window a little bit so I could see things better. Sometimes Zoom is just blocking my view and I cannot see the bottom. You guys might be seeing it, but I have a Zoom on top of this. So let me just resize it. Now this, we all could see it. Zoom is here, and then this one. You don't see Zoom, but I do see it, and if it is blocking, my view is there. So now if I just say, this one, Python list, that is, we just installed another environment. This one is not going to give me. What I want to do is say conda minus conda info dash e. So this one is going to provide me the environment. Now notice that I have this Python 3.11. And then inside the first one, when we did Python, it was 3.12, but now I installed Python 3.11. And now how do I activate this one? You have to activate it to use it. Now I'm on the base package, as you can see here. So right here is my base package. Well, I want to say conda activate is the command, and then this path where what I want to activate. That is my virtual environment activate. Notice that as soon as I did this one, conda activate, it changes to Python 3.11 and instead of the base. So now I'm inside the base, the Python 3.11. So if I say conda list this time, then I'm sorry, clear screen, and then say conda list this time, then it's going to show the packages that are related to the new one there. So if I say conda list, list, and then say Python version, I could see the Python version is this. On Windows, you can also use the find command. If you just are looking for multiple, you could say find or find string. Both of them are on Windows provided /I, and you could say I want to search for let's say pep, if it is there, Python if it's there, and then SQLite if it is there, and then TZ data is there. So there's a number of them, right? And then you could just look at them, and let's say if it's pandas is there, pandas, and then also request is there, and then also if numpy is there. So you can search for multiple one of them, the one that are not there. So the find string there, somehow it did not find it like that. And so let's do a find command. And instead of the find string, but find command, and does not have the or statement, you have to do only one. So unfortunately, we're not inside the PowerShell, so we could just only do one at a time, like this. Find, and it will, if it finds it, it will report it there. And then let's see if we say numpy, it is not there. And then let's see pandas is not there. And then obviously TensorFlow, some of those ones are not there, right? So if you say, well, how do I install it? So you say conda install pandas. You just install pandas, and then if you just say -y, it will go ahead and install pandas. And then when you do the find command next time, it will show that now it is going to be installing it on the pandas. And so if I just do a find, and this time it's going to show there. So at the same time, if I say conda list pandas, I don't need to do a find command, because conda itself says if you give me the argument to it, it is there. Now I have installed the pandas. If I want to use it, I say, let's go first, say, tell me which version of Python I'm running. And then now I'm going to prove it to you that, yes, we installed 3.11. We are inside the Python 3.11. If I just say, and go to show me Python dash version, it is telling you that you're on 3.11 there. And similarly, if we say conda dash version, you get the conda version that was installed. If you say pep dash version, you get the pep packages. And then you can see pep 24.2 for Python 3.11. But if I go to Python inside here and just say invoke Python, yeah, you could also do the uppercase V, and it will just, sorry, lowercase v, and then it will give you a lot more. No, let me quit out of this. So Python dash uppercase V, it will give you that one. I must have typed it one more character after dash V by accidentally pressing the big fat finger, they call it. So here I'm going to just go inside Python now. Or you could do Python dash version, it is there, or say conda list Python that is showing you that this 3.11. And then similarly, if I just say, give me the pandas, you can see that it is there. So let's get to Python. Python 3, I'm gonna say, go ahead to Python, and now 3.11 is loaded. If I do a directory listing of all the objects that are there, it is pandas is not imported. So you could say import pandas as PD. The alias PD will be created for the type of PD. It's just a module that is a pandas module. And then you can do help on PD, you can do dir on PD to get all the PD objects. But before I do the dir on PD, let me just show you, this is 2.223. Inside this one, you could say PD __ version and then __, it will tell you 2.23 there. Similarly, the Python, when I started Python, it shows 3.11, and then right here it was showing 3.11. You can also say inside Python, import the sys module, and type of sys is as a module, right? So you could say sys.path, for example, or sys.executable. So when you do the sys.executable, notice it tells you that this Python 3.11 is under the 3.11 virtual environment that I created, the ENVs that we created. If I want to just get some of the commands from the OS level, I could say import OS here and say os.system, and then say conda, and then a list, and then the one that I want to get is Python. That one also shows me that I have Python 3.11. And similarly, if I want to get the pandas, that is going to show you from the system is 2.3. If I get PD dot the _ version, it is also telling me that it's 23. If I want to get a syntax like this, I could just say print the statement inside Python. You could say the f string and then say pandas, and then maybe a few tabs like 3 or 4, whatever number of these tabs are here, you could just put that one, and then after that one, put this braces. You say PD alias dot double underscore version double underscore. This is the double underscore is the magic method, and that it says that whatever is this object, PD as an alias that I'm creating, give me the version of that one. Then if you just say also paste this information after that one with a couple of tabs here, maybe /t/t, and then you want to just put this string here, and then you could do that one and then close it and then do that one. That would just produce the same similar output above here. So some of this information, Python is doing it for you when you do the system, but you can also get it in from inside Python. At the same time, let's go with installing the package from inside Python here. You could say, for example, os.system, and then install the package called conda install numpy. Before I do this one, let me just show you. If you just do here, say os.system, if you have not installed numpy, you say conda list numpy, maybe it is going to say that it is not installed, no such one. But I installed it earlier. Maybe I installed it earlier. So if I just load it here now, I could say import numpy as np. And then right away, I could say np dot double underscore version. That would just give me the version of it that is there also. So you could do inside here and out and do that one. You could also install from the command line inside Python, but you don't want to get into those levels. And sometimes you could, but you could say install or conda install. And then let's say a package called like request. If you just install it, obviously I did not give a -y for yes. It's gonna prompt me, and then I just say yes, and it's gonna take it. Now request is getting installed, and then I say import the request as a rec, for example, and then say dir of rec. All the modules, the module rec is there, type is rec is there, and all the methods and everything that was there, attributes are available for me. So if I want to connect to my MyWebUniversity, for example, I could say response is equal rec.get, and then the URL. The URL would be like, for example, let's say https www.google.com. Whatever this URL is there, now you could say r.ok. Yeah, it is okay. r.url, you could get that one, Google. r.content, you could get the entire bytecode. r.text, and then you get a text HTML version. So you could say r.status code, you could get that information. 200 meaning that's successful. And then there's the dir of r. You could see like what other things you could do it. You could just get the length, iteration, like cookies, for example. It's the content was there, cookie. You could say, let's say print r. This would just print print r.url. This would just print the URL. So then you could just copy this link and then go to Google, for example, or start it up on Google. So if you just click on this one, it will just take you to Google. And then at the same time, you could also say, we did r.cookies. So if there were any cookies, you could see them. And notice the cookies is a key pair value kind of things. So it is almost like a dictionary, yeah, key pair value. So, or maybe it is a list. Let's say the values. So what you want to say is get the type of it to see if it's a dictionary or like a list. So if it is a list, you will see this one is a data structure, is a class request of the method. So you could get each elements of these ones are request are cookies, and then maybe the header is the one that there. Let me see, r dot headers. Is it the, yeah, headers is the one that is a dictionary. You can see here at the start. So type of r.headers, it is a class. So I could say for item and r.headers, then you could just say print item. Each one of them you could print the information for it. And then you can get the type of them for each of the items. So I could do that one and say print type of the item. That way you could see what it is. They are mostly string, and then you can see a string to all of them. But what you want to do with those cookies, it's up to you. And then I just showed you here that you have activated here. So if I just say Python, actually, let's get to Python here and then say, now I'm gonna say, we already know that it's 3.1 is there. So I'm gonna say import sys module sys.path. You can see the path has the information of 3.11. And then sys.executable, it's telling you that it is on from Python 3.11. And the difference is that if I'm outside of this environment, then I will not be on this 3.11, and then sys.version information would be 3.12. But since this one is inside 3.11 virtual environment that I created, is 3.11 is showing there. Sys.version underscore info is there. Sys.platform is the same on both of them is Windows 32, which is a new technology, Windows NT. So if I go quit out of this one and say Conda, and then deactivate. Now, since I was on the Pi 311, now I'm back on the base. So if I say conda info dash E for environments, you can see I have both of them, but I'm currently on base. So if I say conda list Python, notice this 3.12 version. And this time, if I say, since I'm on the base, conda list, it should all of them Python, Python. It is giving everything rather than just the one for Python. So that's why sometimes it's good to just do a find command and then /I and then search for Python. Yeah, and this one is also a regular expression you can do on the find command, find command to say match anything with find or something. You could do that one. Unfortunately, inside this one, you still get the list of it. But we know that the list is small, and then you can see that when we did it in Python 3.12 is showing right here. So I'm going to say, get into run the Python dash version or Python dash uppercase V, it's going to show you 3.12. And if I say and get into Python, it is going to load the Python 3.12 interpreter. At this time, if I say dir, all these objects, notice that if I don't have the pandas and the NumPy and other ones that was on the 311, I may not have it here. So if I just say import sys and say sys.executable, you can see it's 3.12 is the one that is there. Sys.the version is 3.12 and sys.version info underscore info is going to tell you. Sys.platform is still 132. So if I just say import pandas as PD, you can see it is already there. And then dir of PD is there, all of that. And then somehow it is installed already. And then if I say import OS, and then say os.system, let's do conda list, and then we don't have to do a pipe more or anything because the list is not that big, so we can see them. And you can see here all the ones that are there, SQLite and other ones. So if a package is there, you don't need it, you can always uninstall it there and remove it there. So you could also do it from here. So let's say, for example, if I wanted to remove a pandas from here, you could say conda uninstall and then pandas. It's installing it. Now, if I just try to load it after I say, yeah, go ahead and install pandas, if I want to do it from the base, if I want to import it, it is not going to show up here. You have to install it back if you need it to use pandas. So let's say when this one is done, it's a little bit time consuming, but it is going to say it will be done. Yeah, it is still working on it. No, it's almost done. So I actually, when I was doing the Panda installation, uninstall option from the OS.system, I was telling you this is not recommended. You have to do it from the condo, because sometimes when you use other modules, there are some kind of encoding, which is backtick or double string or quotation mark or something that is not going to be understood at the OS.system level. You have to pass it on, and that's why it says UTF-816LE, unknown encoding, all those ones. So it is good to just go out and then uninstall it from the contest. So let's see if this was installed or not. I'm going to quit here and say, clear my screen, say conda list, and then see if pandas is there or not. If it is not, if it is there or not, I'm going to just do conda uninstall pandas. This one is, if it is found, it will clean it up, and then this time it should not fail with the encoding, because we were inside the OS module for the system, and some of the options may just have the encoding inaccurately. And then let's see, it still is same file not found error, because maybe it already deleted it. So those ones may just give you these options, but it is still spinning, meaning that it's going to work on it. I'm going to pause it because it takes a little bit time. Panda is not as fast with Panda uninstall and reinstall, so I will pause it. So while this is in progress, I'm going to show you how to set up your Windows command prompt to just make sure you can run the pandas executable with conda command from Windows and PowerShell. And notice that this is the same kind of error showed up here. But if I do a conda list and then search for any of those one in the list, it should show that if panda is there or not, it should see it. Um, it looks like it is uninstalled already. Um, yeah, I don't see it here. That's good. So it is uninstalled. And the way you could also confirm it, says go to Python and then say import pandas as PD, and then says no such file, but it did not uninstall it. So it looks like it is they're still there. Their PD is still there. So if I want to use it, I could just say, let's say, create a series or something. I could create that one, or I could create a list. Just let's create a list of numbers, and then we say numbers is equal a list of x for x in range of let's say start with 100 and then go to 1000 and then increment by 200. Those numbers are so 100, 300, and so on, 500 and so on. That is my list, and then I want to just say num here. You can see it's a series of those numbers. That's a list actually, so it is not any object of like pandas. So if I want to say num sub 0, that would be giving me 100, and then num sub n would be giving you the number of that element. So this would be 1, this 2, this 3, this 4. So you could say num4 to get that one. 900 or num minus 1 would give you the same thing, the last element. And then if you want to just say what are the directory with this num, since there's a lot of things with list you can do. So you can sort them, you can remove it, you could pop each element from it, and so on. Watch my other videos on Python. I have explained this one already. So I'm going to just create an series 1 object out of this panda. So pd dot series and then I'm just gonna pass on num as the argument. And this now type of S1 is a series. You can see there. And so S1 is having all those elements with an index of 0 being the 100, index of 1 would be 300, and so on. I mean, with pandas, you can create data frames, you can create lists. And so if I just say, create another list of, let's say, a dictionary, you say D is equal, and then you just say dictionary of something. Let's say I want to just do a first name and last name kind of information. So let's just do first name and last name and then age. So dictionary is what this. I'm gonna say a string F name, like first name, and then a colon, and then I'm gonna just type in Wahid for my first name. You can start with double quote, you have to end with double quote. Start with single quote, you have to do with single quote. So to be consistent, I'm going to use single quote and this one. The next element is going to be, the key is going to be last name, and then colon, and then Lutfi. So now I'm going to say the next column is a sport. Favor the sport, I'm going to say soccer. So if I just love soccer, I love to play soccer or football, and that is the dictionary that I'm creating here. Now, type of D is a dictionary. You can see it's DICT. And if I say D, it's going to show that one. D sub first name is going to give me my first name there, right? And then same thing, D dot sub last name is going to give me the last name, and D dot sport the key values, right? So you could say D dot keys this, to get all the keys here. D dot values to get all the values there. D dot items to get both key pair value. So as you notice that the key pair value is a tuple inside here. So if I say type of you could say tuple or tuple, D dot items, for example, items that is sorry, and type of D dot items items, and then you just have to do that one. It says it's a dictionary item. But for each item, when I iterate, this one is going to be just, let's say, dot sub-zero. It's not showing that way. I could say for key, key comma value and D dot items, and then you could say, now go ahead, print type of you could print type of key comma value. That would be like each one of them, or you could print key comma value of each one of them, and that way also. So you could get the dictionary. But now if we want to say what are those ones, there are tuples, each one of them that are a dictionary type, that is key pair value. But earlier when I was showing you, these were like a list that contains two elements, which is a tuple. This is the first name, and then the values, Wahid. So you could do that one. Now, why did I create this D? D is there. Let's create a data frame, and then I'm gonna say panda.data frame. So I'm going to initialize the data frame with this D dictionary, and then it is giving an error. Let's see why it is there with an error. Scalar value, you must be an index. So I did not have an index for it, and then in order to do an index for it, I could just say, for example, D comma, say index is equal And then just because it's 1, 2, I believe it's 2 elements. So let me just look at this one like that, and then now the F is there. You can see that there's 2 rows on it, the index. So type of data frame, it is a Panda data frame here. I could also say import NumPy as NP and say now I did NumPy, I could create an array of a data structure of let's say NumPy.array of 2-dimension array. I could say 2-dimension 3 rows, 1 comma 2 comma 3, and I'm actually 3 by 3. If I create it, I have to do 3 columns and 3 rows. So I could say make it 3 columns but 2 rows, and so I don't have to have too many numbers. So 1, 2, 3. Actually, make it 2 columns, 2 columns and 3 rows. That would be better, because I could just have the index column 1 and column 2. So if I just do this one, 1, 2, and then 3, 4. These that numbers doesn't have to be in sorting order. You could say, and the next element is 50 and 51. You could whatever you assign it. That's your choice. And then now I'm going to say that is there as NumPy. And then here you could see that array is a 2-dimensional. A sub 0 would be pointing to the first row. I'm sorry. You have to do a slash here. A sub 0 would be the first one, and then A sub 1 would be second element, and A sub 2 would be, and then there's no A sub 3. If you do A sub 3, it is out of range index, right? Because the length of A, you can see A dot shape, it is 3 by 3 rows and 2 columns. So if you see 3 rows and 2 columns, that means I could create a data frame 1 is call it pandas.data frame, instantiate this one, the data frame constructor with just having A was there, but then now I'm going to say call index is equal, and then I just have a list of call 1 for column 1, and then call 2 for column 2. And that one is a list, and that would just create a data frame. So let's see, A is, I'm gonna get A first. Okay, so at this time, I'm gonna say column, sorry, columns. Data frame, did you mean, oh, the data frame, a column index was okay. The data frame, I must have typed it inaccurately. I wrote date frame, data frame, and that should do it, and that's empty. So let's see, I'm going to change it to columns. Yeah, columns, because those are actually column, not rows. If it was index, you would create it as 0, 1, 2, and it would be rows. Normally, this would be your column data frame. So type of DF1, it is a Panda data frame. You can see that one. And DF1 is the entire element. So DF1, if you want to just get the entire column 1, you could just say here call 1. That would give you that. And then similarly call 2. Or you could say the df1 dot call 1, whatever is the name of it, or call 2 to get call 2, or df1 dot columns will give you the name of the columns. Df1 dot some objects, you could just type it and do that one. If you want to get the first row, for example, you could also do df1 here, then df1 sub 0 is going to sorry, df1 sub 0. It is when you do df1, you are typing either .loc to locate it. So if I just do 0 like this, and this one is going to give me first row. And then df1 was, df1 was this. So df1, um, look, 0 would be 1, 2. Df1, 1 would be 3, 4. And then the 1, 2 would be 50, 51. So you could get that one, and then you could also do df1 with the iLook. So the look and iLook is rows and columns. In this case, when I did the iLook, that is integer look, that now you're going to say, give me everything on first row, and then columns, I want to just say the word column, you could just give the number of, let's say 1, and you could get the column 1. If you want to get column 2, actually column 0 would be the first one, but since we have 2 columns, 1 would be this. If you just also say, give me both, you could get this information. And you could also say 0 colon 1. That would also give you this. And similarly here, you have 3 rows, so you could say 0 to 2, and that would give you those, and then 0 to 3 give you all 3 of them. Because df1.shape is 3 rows and 2 columns. So you could do this kind of things with pandas as well. So I'm going to exit out of the command line here, because I want to show you some graphical, most people like graphical stuff here. And then before I do the graphical, let me just show you the C prompt and command prompt that I showed you here. I'm going to just make my PowerShell prompt and command prompt accessible. So if I just go on and open a command prompt currently, because Anaconda, when we did the installation, it did everything to Anaconda-Navigator, and then it did not modify any of the environment. So path, it is this, but maybe Anaconda is not in the path. So if I say conda, it's not going to say conda command is not found. The reason it says that one, because I don't have that path of the directory that is there. So here, remember that I did this one, directory O colon D. This one is in descending order, the last directory that is getting modified. So somewhere here, I think it was program data. So if I just go back to the conda and maybe it's program data, let me just type in program data, cd program and data. Yeah, it is program data. So this is the path. If I just want to go to directory Anaconda, notice that Anaconda 3 is there, right? Anaconda 3 is there, and then here is all these executables here. Python 3.12, the libraries. So if I just say dir of store.exec and says Python 3.8 this, and then notice underscore conda is there. Is there like a script directory here? The scripts directory, yeah. So under the scripts directory, there's a lot of the exact file here also. You can see all of these ones are the actual script that executable that you're running, whether Jupyter Lab or Jupyter Notebook or PyCharm or Conda. So if I want to run the Conda here, if my environment is not set, I say conda.exec, and that file is going to run. So notice if I just, I'm here, I say conda, it's still going to work because that path is already finding where the conda is. So conda list, now I get the list of it. Except this one is on the Windows command prompt, and I can get the information here. So conda list, and then do a find command and say /I, and then say, let's say pandas. Now, if the find does not work, which it does because I'm inside the find OS level. So this is much better than the conda prompt that we were getting it. And then some of the options here, like for example, earlier I was looking at the find a string. You could do find a string here and say either show me this or show me pipe. Pep. Pep would be just those two, but notice the find string, it did not find the two of them that is there. And so that is the OR statement is not working on this one either. And then if I do it individually without that option, it is going to detect that one, and it is going to report it. So there's a little bit of this one, but let's see if the OR statement works inside the um, inside the PowerShell. So in order for this one to work out of the box, no matter what directory it is there, I could just copy this environment and say, go ahead, add this one into my environment variables. So edit the system environment variables and say environment variables here, and then look at the path here, and then say edit it. Now I'm going to say add a new one and then just paste that string of what I just copied and then paste it here. Now it says program data, Anaconda, and a script directory. Now I just have to say exit it out of it. This one that is done. Okay, and so it's applied. But notice if I go back here and say conda, it's not going to work because I have to close this prompt and then open another command prompt. Now the system is going to load my prompt with the path of what I just modified it. And then somewhere there, it is find /I and then conda. Let's see if that finds it or not. So if it is not there, yeah, conda is not there. Somehow that export, the path was not done. Let's just do it again. Edit system environment. Let me just say an environment and then path, edit. Yeah, it is there. It's added already. No, it was not added. So I'm gonna just somehow I did not apply it, maybe even though it was there. So I'm gonna say new, and then right here I'm gonna say paste. And then press enter. Now it is there. I'm going to say select, and that is the option. If I just edit it again, let's see, that program files this time is there. I'm gonna say, okay, that is good. I'm gonna close this one and then say, okay, this one, and then one more time, I'm gonna check it to make sure that it took place because somehow the edit last time I missed it. So right here, when you click on it and edit, the last line, it is not getting it. It is not adding it. And so let me just try to add it as a system. With administrative privilege maybe. So what I'm going to open a command prompt here again, CMD, and then say path, and then conda, and it is not there. Let's just do and edit environment variable. So this time I'm gonna right click here and notice that you cannot get the option edit um, environment variable, system environment variable for your account, edit environment variable for account, edit environment variable for control panel. Let me go to this one and then this and then say edit. I'm gonna just select it from here for some reason. When I did the cut and paste, it did not see it. Let's see if it finds it under program data here, and then Anaconda 3, and then the scripts here. So scripts is here, and then we just say okay, and that is getting added here. And this one just give you an option of okay, and then we did that one. And then right here, normally when I do this one, it does take care of it. And here, the option that are there is just basically, I can see the bottom of it. Let me move the zoom out of the way. Okay, so it is only giving me a okay. Since I have that one, I'm gonna say okay. And now I open a command prompt and then say path, and oh, this time it did it. So the browsing cut and paste was not working, the browsing option did it. Now if I just have that one, conda list would work. So all the command with the conda, now from wherever directory I am, I can just run it. It doesn't matter that I have on this one, on this screen, say conda list, it would work, and then conda install, conda anything would work, all of those ones. So clear screen, if I just want to say conda list and then Python, it should say the Python 311, or yeah, it is giving you everything there. So if I just want to only get Python, you could say find and then /i. That would okay, so the find command, it requires, because Python is executable, you cannot do it without double quote or single quote. You say now it is a string. So now find command is one command, Python is the string that is matching here. And if you want to just only say start with the word Python and then end with the $, meaning the new line character, so it only showed this one, you could do this kind of regular expression, but whether the find command supported or not, that's a different question. And now it did not support it. Let's see if find string is the one that support a regular expression. And then if it does, it should do it. It is not showing that one. But now notice now I can do conda list and conda on all those arguments. Each one of them I could just take care of it, and then conda config dash dash show, and then you will get all the information about that one. And you can do a pipe more to see each one of them. You can read all those values. I don't know if you're interested or not, but you could also do channels to see what are the channels that are available. And those are the default one is right now is the default is the main one. So you can say conda config dash dash add, and then now I'm going to say conda dash forge. That will be adding the forge, and then you have to say channels to add the channels. Then this would be adding that one. Now conda show channels, you will see that the forge was added here. So now if I say conda search numpy, and then it's going to search numpy within the base, which is the default one, as well as the conda dash forge. It's going to search under Anaconda search board. And notice that the package that for numpy, it is installed from these main packages as well as conda forge packages. So if you want to do it from a particular channel or a different version of it, you have to specify that version. Like I said, Python 3.11, and then you can say numpy and then the particular version and then the particular channel. You have those options to do that as well. Since the path is now set here, let's just open a PowerShell prompt. I'm gonna make this screen bigger. So now if I go to my current direct, even if I go to the slash, I'm on inside PowerShell. Git dash process, you can see it is there, pwd, git dash alias, all those commands are PowerShell commands. So if I just say pep list, you could see that pep runs inside PowerShell. So if I say measure dash objects, you can see that 162 of them there. And now if I say conda, just to see if conda works, because the path already has it, conda also works. And then instead of pep list measure, you could just say conda dash measure conda list, and then see the comparison of how many packages are on the conda versus pep. Pep was 162 and conda is 503. But pep, you can install a lot more than just what conda can support. There's a lot more packages because Python has been there with pep forever in comparison to Anaconda. So yet Anaconda supports C, C++. So if you're a developer, you're trying to set up your environment, you could do on different number of things. So conda list here, you could say that, not dash list, I could say conda info, you will get all the information about Anaconda, but at the same time say conda info dash E for environments, or dash dash envs dash dash envs, it would give you the same thing. Now I have two of them. If I want to just say, go ahead and do the another set here and say conda. This time I'm going to use create with dash dash name, and I'm going to say Python 3.10, for example. Whatever version on the development that you want to test, you could build your environment for this one there. So now I have to say Python version is 3.10. And then let's get also on another package by default, say just install NumPy also. You could see if it does both of them in one shot. I did not specify the particular version of NumPy, so it's going to get the latest version there. If it is not installed, obviously you could get into that Python 3.10 and then start NumPy from there also to get it there. So I showed you in the graphical interface and that navigator. You could also come in here, say Anaconda. Notice that when you say Anaconda, you could have an option of prompt here that we just showed you here. So the base is conda info and dash E. It gives you the environments that is currently available on this one. If you just don't want to use the Anaconda command prompt, and we already used the PowerShell, you're welcome to use that one also. So this one just now, I created this Python this one, and it says that if you want to activate this one, you could just simply type in this, because that is your activation 3.10. But I'm not going to type that one or conda deactivate it back. So what you want to do is, let's just try the recommended way, and then right here it says you have to run conda init first before activating it. So what you want to do is conda init for initialization, and then say yes, go ahead and initialize it. This one is going to basically under Anaconda 3, this creates all these environment for init, just making sure the conda executive is there. Now, if I just do up arrow here and then run this one, it should activate it, but it didn't. So let's just see why the system recommended something that didn't work. So I'm going to do the way we normally do, say conda list, not list, conda info dash envs, or dash E for envs. Now conda info dash E, it is giving you, yeah. So somehow, oh, dash dash envs. I missed a dash dash here. Dash dash is the full version, and lowercase dash E is the second one. So if you do this one, remember the conda activate does not work, but it now says that because I'm on the C drive, I wasn't on this program data Anaconda. If I was inside the Anaconda, this directory, I could have just activated that way too. You could do this one, say conda activate and full path. This would be just getting it, and now I'm going to get the Python 3.12, and it did not activate it. So let's see why it did not activate it. I'm gonna say conda activate this version, which we did it from the command prompt. And notice that it says run conda init and then before conda activate. So let's say conda init. We're gonna just take the recommendation, but I know that the last time when we did this one, it did not activate it. See that it does not activate it. So there's a bug there. And in order to fix this one, I could show you that if I just do it from the directory of conda info dash envs, I'm gonna go to the top directory here and then say cd to this directory. I'm on the envs. So inside here, there's this only 311. Somehow the 310 never got created. Even though when you do a conda info dash e, it is showing you that 310 is there, but 310, I don't see it in the envs directory. Under env, there's a .conda, and then that one somehow it is not inside Anaconda. And so if I just want to create a new one here, I think the problem might have been the option that I gave name of this, like NumPy also. I think that could have created a confusion. So let me just say I'm on the directory of that init. I'm gonna say delete and delete item, and then on this path, and then we say recursive, not delete item. Remove item is one. So if you forgot the option of this one, say get command, and then say delete maybe, or item. Search for item. I know it has something with item, but there's a lot of them, and then I want to only see the commandlet, and then the command is move item or delete item. Let's say clear item, copy item. So in order to remove item, maybe. So I'm going to just search for the command. And normally on the DOS or it's a del and then /s for delete subdirectory. So here I'm going to just say remove. Yeah, remove item is the directory what I'm looking for. So if I just say instead of this, get the one that I did here, this one I want to say remove item, and then dash recurse to go recursively, and then the directory I want to delete is this. I just don't want to do it here. So this one will just delete all the subdirectories. Now, if I say conda info dash e, you can see that it's only 311 and that one is not there. So I'm going to up arrow and remove the NumPy option from here. Later on, I will just do the NumPy. So now this one should create a NumPy, sorry, Python 3.10 version with the env directory. So let's see if this one gets created. I'm still on the base because when you're looking at the prompt shell, I'm on the base. And then go ahead and continue on this one. So while this one is done, I could show you something with the navigator. Actually, this is done, so I just will finish with this one. Now, notice that this one says, go ahead, activate it this way. But let's see if the first option is going to conda info-e, it should tell me that 310 is there. Notice this time is under Anaconda, it looks like it needs to be activated still. Somehow within this PowerShell, it is not doing it. So if I say, and just take the recommended version and say, go ahead, do this one, since I'm on this directory, it finds that 310, but this one is .conda, meaning that go to the hidden directory of Conda and then ENBs under Wahid user rather than the program data. That is not under program data, and it is not doing it that this way. So the only choice we have is to use the prompt from Conda. So Anaconda prompt here, we're gonna just go to say conda info-e, and now it is there. So I'm going to say that this is the one. I'm going to say conda remove pi 310. Let's see if I uninstall it. The following package are missing from the target. So I'm going to say conda create. Let's see the option and opposed to create what are there. So search is there, repo, remove and install is there. Remove a list of packages from a specified data. That's just a set of package. So create and deactivate is there, but there's no destroy or anything built in this. So I could just delete it, the whole thing there. I'm going to delete it this way and then see if I could just create it from the base. Since I'm on the base now, I'm gonna say conda list, and then I'm on a PowerShell. No, I'm not on PowerShell. I'm on a DOS command prompt. So inside this one, I'm going to remove it. Say remove item, that environment completely, and then now conda info-e, and you can see that it is available this. So coming back here on the Anaconda prompt, I'm gonna say conda create dash n is the name, and then say go ahead create the pi 310, and then Python is equal 310. That should create my environment with that one, and then I should be able to activate it the same way I did at 311. But inside the PowerShell, it was telling us to initialize it, and then when you activate it, the command that it recommends it is not working. So there must be some sort of bug. Or maybe, let's see if the version 310. I have been typing 310 when I meant 3.10. So there's a typo. Typo is the one that it hurts you a lot. So this is the problem. And then 3.10 is the version. It was not finding 310. So here, if I go my list of command, actually I was typing 3.10 on the PowerShell. So it was typing 3.10, but on the command prompt of the other one, it is finding it, and it's doing it. Let's see if we have to use Anaconda prompt. rather than PowerShell prompt. So at this time it is there, and then it says that conda dash info dash E is showing that 3.10 is also installed. But notice again, it's under this directory. It is not just so. If I say conda activate and the entire activate the entire path, this is not doing it similar to the way 311 was done. I actually did. So now it is available. So I could say conda info, and then say conda info, what was the name? Dash E. So now it is, when we activate it, it is still this. And now 3.10 is there, conda list. This time my Python would be Python 3.10. And because I'm inside that one, and you can see for Python 3.10 is the one that it is installed here. Pep is there. Now this is 3.10 here. So if I just say Python dash version, you can see it's 3.10.16. If I go inside Python, obviously import sys, and then also sys dot executable, it tells me where the path of this Python executable. It is under .conda because I just am doing it under Wahid user. And remember, the only difference here is that when I open a command prompt, I'm creating a .conda directory that has its own local environments. But when I'm doing it from the system levels that I just want to use conda that way, that was under program data, this one. And so that is the difference here. And I'm going to quit out of here. I'm going to say conda info dash E. Notice the difference between the 311 and the 311 was under the system that I just did it. And this one, because I open a conda prompt shell, which is Anaconda prompt now, my path is set since I did the path. This is not recommended for the system to just set up the path there, because you want to just maintain it under one environment. But if you did it on the local environment, and then you want to just maintain it that way, you could just do it that way. So you can test it here before you test it on the system level. You could locally test something as a package, and if you build it and you would say, this is almost like your integrate development or testing, and this is your kind of integration before you put it on the production. So you integrate with other users. But the version of the where you create this Python 3.10 for both of them has to be the same. So I have to do another one for 3.11 for this one, so I can have a testing as well as production. I hope that is clarified for some of you that are developers. And then the next thing is that you could also use the graphical interface here. Like, for example, install PyCharm, you can install it in other ones. So you can also launch it, like Jupyter Lab, for example, here. Let's see, Jupyter Notebook is here. And then if you just double click on it, you can just launch it in a Jupyter Notebook. Jupyter Notebook and Jupyter Lab, they're starting on localhost on port 888, and then by default you get a very nice interface here where IDE, well, Jupyter Notebook, and you can just say open a new one, and you can just say if you want to open a terminal, so you could type in on the terminal. You could set up a session so you can practice it on the terminal, as well as just have like new here. You can see Python 3 kernel. If you just do it, it has a cells here that you could just type in the commands. So if I want to use the operating system command, like directly to see that one, you could also do that one. and you get the list of operating system. And if you say, let's see, conda list, if the operating system, the conda path is there, it will give you an output. But if it is, yeah, it is there. So you could do it also here, and then conda list, and then so on. But putting an exclamation mark here. If you use the percentage here, this one say list magic. Let's see if the cells are available. Yeah, the cells are not available. That's interactive Python. So what you could do is use regular Python. Say import numpy as MP, or just say import math as something, import math as m, and then m dot square root of 100. Let's say you could just get that one and just run it. And then if you just say, for example, import numpy as np. So I could just say, do that one. If a numpy is not available, it will just say that this package is not there, but it is not complaining. So dir of numpy will return the result here. You can see here is there. And then if you say, for example, for item and dir of np, and then you just say, show me anything if the string array is there, or in item, or the square is there, some string that you could say an item, just print them. An item, and then say print them. Let's see what is this list is into content. You can see here that all the arrays, methods, and other related strings are there. And then, so the list was a lot there. And if I just say, don't check for array, let's see if the square was there. Only if it is not there, it's not going to print it there. In order to get a list of them, let's say dir print dir of numpy. When you do a print like this, it's going to print it horizontally. So now you can see all the other functions that are there with it. You could just get a bigger list here. So if you're seeing like something with the max or minimum, you could search for those ones. And then there's a lot of functions within NumPy that you could do it, and then the standard deviation, absolute value, and so on. So if I just comment this line and then just say here, say, and this just search for a standard deviation as well as standard deviation, STD, and then also an item. If I just want to get only STD, that should say non-STD and then STD. And then also if I say, give me or numpy dot pi value. Actually, or pi and item print those two also. So you can see something I mistyped it. So or item or pi. Oh yeah, when you start with single code, you have to close it with single code. So now pi is there, which means I can get some numbers, some array, and then you say array A is equal np dot array of some elements. I could just create a list comprehension, say x for x in a range of let's say whatever range I could say, start with 1,000 to 5,000, increment by 300. Whatever number I want to increment, I have that option. So now A is there, and then if I say, give me A, print A, print A. So this one should go on the front here, because indentation would break here. I made a typo here, so let me correct it. x for x and range of this. And so x is equal x for x and range of this. I think that would be the right syntax. X is equal x for x and range of and this. Let's see what is the complaint. Yeah, the parentheses somehow it is misunderstood here. Oh, right here the syntax was okay. I didn't need to put x is equal. So this one I just need to say x for x and range of this. I was just missing a right parenthesis, left parentheses, not closing it there. So that sometimes when you do these things, you have to read it. So right here, these items, I could just comment it in Python. You could do a 3 single quote or 3 double quote. That would close it. And so if I just do this one and then say that is commented and then just read that, print this one. Now it is there. Notice that if I say print the array A minus 100, obviously it's going to just subtract from each vector 100. And then if I just do a multiplication by 100, that's going to make it bigger. Since I use the math function, I could say, give me for each element math.pow or square root of it, I could do that as well. And then the way you do it for each element, you could have to manipulate it that way per element. So at this time, let's just show you more of this one rather than NumPy, or maybe I could just demo that one. So please, let's do a with addition of 100. You can just see that this addition is doing it. And then if you say plus power of math.pow power of now I have to do let's say for the first element, if I say a sub 0, if I want to get a sub 0 only the power of it, I could do that one. And then let's see for item a sub 0 argument. Okay, power function, because when you do the power, you say this element to the power of 2. So if you just get that one, let me do this one a different way. So I'm going to correct that one. Say first, let's get elements. So a sub 0 would give me that, right? That, and then I could say here I could say m dot square root of that element. Well, for 1000, whatever is the square root of that one, you could get that 31. But if I want to get 1000 and then power of that one, comma, power requires 2 arguments. So 1000 to the power of 2. That is 1 million, right? Yeah, something like that. And so 100 times. If you just do it with the power of 3, it is going to do 1000 on 1000 on 1000. And similarly, if I just say this is divided by 10 and then do by 3, you could get that one. And then by 2, you could do that one. So manipulation of these data is there. Now, if I just did the math, I could also do math dot the square root of 1000. Again, it was just a sub 0. But the arithmetic numbers that are there is available for you. So if you then say, go ahead, divide it after this one, divide by 2, by 10, and that would be 10, right? So actually 31, because I did not say the whole thing is divided by 10. And this one is there. So I meant to say after I did this one, and then close this one. So which information is going to be calculated first and second, you have to do that way. So another way you could do is like, let's just show you a simpler arithmetic. You don't have to go with that many digits. I'm going to say, for example, math dot square root of 100 is going to give me 10, right? So then I could say, go ahead, math.pow, and then .pow of, now I'm going to say 2 comma, um, 2 to the power of 10. That would give me 1024. So something like this, you could just say, which is argument for what, and obviously, if you want have to do it something like this for all elements of that one, you can do that one with a for statement within less comprehension, or a for statement for all elements. You could do that one, but that's a different topic that we could cover on a Python class, which I might have already covered it. So I'm going to get out of here and then say, okay, we showed you this, and then now if I want to exit out of this one, you could just say file, and then right here it says shut down. On shut down, it says go ahead, shut down this kernel, and then leave. And then this one also, when I was using the console, I think it was the one that it is there. But under the Jupyter Lab, Jupyter Notebook, you have the console, you have the terminals, and watch my other videos if you have to do that one. Basically, you could just click on the console to open a console, go to Markdown to create a text file, go to R language, Python, all of these are there. And when you open the console on the operating system, you just are basically giving options to run operating system commands from there. Because I shut it down, I'm going to just close this session. Let me make sure my session does not get closed everything together, because when you're on the explore stuff, you don't have to just close it the entire Zoom stuff. I don't want to just close this. So I'm going to show you what the Jupyter Lab. Let's see if I just close this one, and then I'm going to show you here. So no, Jupyter Lab PyCharm, you can click on launch it. And Visual Studio Code, you could launch it also. It's already installed, so it is there. And then with the Visual Studio Code, you can install all the extension, and this is the default one. You can select your theme and everything else. I'm going to just close Visual Studio Code also. You know that these tools are there, but if you want to create a file, you could go to folders and start it coding, and then install either C++ or other ones with extension, extension, and then just get it done. So that is, if you have not watched other videos, I don't want to just go again over something that I have already covered in the past. It doesn't make sense to just explain something 10 times and nobody is interested looking at it. And then Jupyter Lab is here that you could also launch it. It has a launch button. You could just click on it. We used a notebook, and then notice that both Jupyter Lab and Jupyter Notebook, it opens on localhost port 888. And by default, whatever command that I have already done with the SQLite and other stuff, you could do that same thing if you just run it as SQLite and then you connect to the database or something. Or you could just go open another one, and then here you could just also, like I showed you on the console, you could just do a console, and then right here is you're on the PowerShell prompt of console there. And then here you could just type in commands that are related to it. You could do that one. And then if I just say dir, for example, and then just run that one as under run cell, and then you get the output here. And then that way, this is interactive Python, by the way. So you could also just open here, there's a Python iKernel, and then start coding here. And then here you could just have option of running OS level commands. So if I want to just get to run multiple commands on OS, watch my other videos also. I don't want to just repeat the same thing. But if I want to write Python, I just start writing it here. So print hello world, and then that's as simple as that. If you're basic, you just get that one. If you say for item and or num and let's say a range of 10 numbers, so I'm gonna say 1 to 10, let's say. Start this one, 11 is the last one. So I say print, if you want to just print hello world 10 times, you could say F string and then double quote, and you say here the number, which is 1 through 10, and then colon and say hello world, and then bang, and then close it, and then just run it, and it will just give you hello world from 1 to 10. And if you just do whatever commands, if you just create a list comprehension here, say x is equal for x and range of 100, and then just say if x module 2 is equal 0, that would print all the even numbers. So if I just run that one, it will just do that one. X, I just missed the x here. X for x is equal and range this, and then you get the numbers. So if you just say print it, then you get it in one column rather than just one row. You could get this one and then now say, give me only the first 10 numbers. So it is smaller, you could get that one. And if you say, give me the odd numbers, you just say not equal to 0. Those are going to produce the odd numbers. So you could do a lot with Python, whether you use some modules and install it and other ones. You could say, for example, run the modules conda list here, and then just get a list of all the modules that are there. You could create it, you could do all of that, the same thing that you did at the command prompt. You could just say conda install, let's say request, and then just because of this exclamation mark, you could just do this one. This exclamation says that run the OS level commands here. Since our environment is set there, it will just go and install conda, request module, and then once it is done, it will prompt you and say that it's completed, yes or no. And then you could also say -y for option and -y for yes. That would just run it with default option. And so while this one is in progress, I want to show you another tool. So here, let's go to the spider. A spider is somewhere here. A spider is really cool stuff. You could just use it right here. You could just launch it. And now notice my operating system memory and everything is so good. So it will run no problem. If you don't have any as much resources, you could just open one application at a time and work on it. And then I'm going to just say dismiss this one. I don't need the training. Here, you could just write your code here and then execute it. This is also interactive Python. So the LS Magic stuff that I was showing you here, it is available here. Magic, you can see it because it's IN for interactive Python. So I could just press enter here. You get a list of magics that are available for LS Magic. So percentage bash, for example, takes you to bash scripting. And so percentage Python 3 would give you to Python 3 and so on. So this is like a list magic. And then you could do a list magic, what 1%, I believe, and then you get the list of magic. Yeah, 1%, but one is for the cell, one is for the line. So for line is usually one cell, 1%. For cell is two. So if you see that for the cell we have a such for PowerShell and scripting and so on, you could do that. And then it says that I want a new version. I don't need to. I don't work on it all the time. This is just for demo purpose. Come on, understand the first time. I don't have to answer it 10 times. So right here, I could say percentage bash, and then get into a bash shell. Now I'm on bash, and then I say for X and range of, let's say, not range, is a sequence. So I could say $ sequence, and then say here 10, and then the same hello world, I could say here, say do echo, and then say -E for new line characters. I don't have to do this new line character here. I could say echo and then say $X colon hello world. And then that would just do that one and then say done. And then pressing it, it will just execute. And let's see why it did not do that one. Or I and $ sequence was inaccurate, so that was there. So you just have to go here, say $, and then this sorry, this is like a sub shell. You say go ahead, do this, and then that is the right syntax. So then you say this. Let me just do this, and then now it works here. You could also do a backtick here and just say, go ahead, use as a backtick this syntax with backtick, and then this would close it with backtick, and then that would do the same thing. Or you could also say the actual numbers. So rather than do it in braces. So if I just go back here and say, let me just make this screen bigger. Okay, so I'm going to move this one up here, and then you could also say, like for example here, and instead of this, I could say the braces, and that's a bash scripting also, 1.11 or the 1.5 if I want to just run it 5 times, and then just go to the done part, and then press enter, and then it will do it 5 times. So it's your choice. You could do this one. Here you could also come in and say, for example, let's do something like import request as R as rec, and then say as rec, and then as request. I could just say import request, that's good enough. I don't want to say import request as request. Why would you create an alias longer than that one? So say R is equal request. So if I just want to go to jpl.nasa.gov where I work at, so I could say request dot get, and then the URL, I could just even declare a variable here, say URL is equal, and then say HTTPS and www.google.com, and then or whatever URL that I want to test, and then I just put in the URL here, and then say print r.url. R.url is that the status of the URL, so I can click on it and open that page. If I want to just do as simple as that, let's say I just run this one. Now it says go ahead, run it, and it's going to run it now. It just opens that one. Control plus might just open it, but I could just also do a right click here and says does it have an option here that you could say do it? Normally, when you do these kind of work, you just are able to just do it on multiple screens. So I could just say, go ahead and open it here. And then cut and paste it is there. So if I just want to, instead change it on Google, I could go back to this. Instead of Google, I could say, comment this line out here. Comment this line here, and then say URL is equal, and then say HTTPS gpl.nasa.gov. Jet proportional laboratory nasa.gov. So now I want to test this one. I run it, and now notice that this page showed up here. So if I say go ahead, copy this one, and instead of showing Google, show me jet proportional laboratory nasa.gov, it's going to just do that one. So it is jet proportional laboratory NASA. It's really cool. That's the helicopter on Mars. Imagine that you are able to fly a helicopter on Mars and the surface of Mars. Ingenuity. And there's a lot of kind of robotics and space exploration. So you could do that one. If I want to just instead of this one, let's say I want to see my chapter 4 documentation of this one, I could just say comment this line out and then just say go ahead. If the page is up, you could access it. If the page is down, obviously you will not be able to get it. So, and this is another way you could check it. So I'm going to say that www.mywebuniversity.com/chapter4.html. So if I just want to do that page, and then you can see Max, we try this one. Failed to resolve this one, MyWebUniversity.com. So somehow, let's see if the page is up or not. And then the way I could check it, say HTTPS MyWebUniversity.com. It is there, and then I must have had the typo there. So I will correct the typo by just doing this. And now I'm seeing this page. Let's open this page here on the this one, and instead of this, let's see what I typed it because I am far away, and then yeah, I could make it bigger so you could see it better. Sorry about that one. By shift control plus, I just did this one. So now if I say URL is equal, and then put the double quote and paste that string, I could see what I must have typed it here. My web university, R was missing somehow here, a typo. And now it's all the same character. So I'm going to comment this paste part. This should work. If I run it this time, now it's going to open it there. And then this is the one that is there. So if I could just say, open the browser, since remember this one, you can run the commands here. You could say this, and now I could say on the operating system command is start, and then this URL, then I get the browser. So it's much easier to just do interactive Python here, since the URL earlier that I did with the nasa.gov, if I just change this one with gpl.nasa.gov, let's just comment this line and then just have the gpl.nasa.gov. I run it here. Now this is the page here, right? Now this is the page. I could even say on the statement, just open it there. So let's see if we can do a operating system here, say import OS, and then say os.system, and then here I could just say start, and then the command that I want to start is the plus r and dot URL. So that plus is just saying that add this one to it. What I could do is also say, rather than say command is equal, and say command is equal, now the command is a start, and then the next command is adding it to it is r dot URL. So here all I have to do is say start command, and then let's see if this doesn't work. I could tweak it a little bit. Start HTTP. So here there's a space has to be there, and then that should work, and then that's working there. So we automated fully to say this one. Now, if I want to just open nasa.gov here, this page, let's say, or Marso3 or whatever thing that you want to open, you basically just have to do this one and say here the URL is let's say nasa.gov. That would just open this one and just run it, and we'll just open that page. If you just say, well, that's cool, we could automate it for a list of them. And so can I just do that one for a list? Yeah. So look at how flexible Python is. So I could just say here is the URL, right? And I could say, let's say we wanted to open all these URLs. So I could say URL 1 is this, URL 2 is this, and URL 3 is this, right? So URL 3 is this. Now I don't have to just use one of them. I could say, and then I say for, and then that one, rather than doing that one, you could say URLs. Actually, URLs is equal, and then you could say that one is a list, right? So instead of doing it as a string, each one of them, I could create a list of URLs. URLs is equal, and then just make a list, and then the list will contain these elements. So this would be the first one. URL sub 0 would be this, and then comma, and then this would be URL sub 1, and then let me just move this thing a little bit out of the way, and then the list is big, so I'm gonna press enter here, so that way you get this one, and then after this one I'm gonna press another enter here, so comma, and then enter, and then this one would be the third one. So you create this list here. And then this, and now I'm gonna close the list. So that is the list there. Now I'm gonna say for URL and URLs, and do this r.request. So it goes through the loop for each one of them. Sorry, r is equal, and then we say requests dot get, and then URL, So each URL we want to get it, and then right here, import OS, I'm going to just import it here. You don't want to just import OS on the next line and where we need it, and we just want to do this one. So now this command is going to move here. We just have to say command CMD is equal. We want to say start space and then plus r.url. That would just do this one, and then right here, we want to just say open the for each one of them and say os.system and then CMD, and then that would just do all three of them. So imagine right here, if I want to do it this way, it is very easy. Import request, import OS, and then now URLs. If I want to get the Google, I missed the Google, so I put chapter 4 twice. I'm going to change this one to Google. So this one, I'm going to delete this line. And then and instead of chapter 4 twice, I'm going to just add this one, Google. HTTPS google.com. And then if I want to just open my other channel also, I could put one more and show my YouTube channel. So I could say HTTPS youtube.com/@MyWebUniversity. So you could subscribe there as well. And that would be there, and then comma here. So now let's see if there's no syntax error, we should be able to open all of them in the browser. It did. So not
Great people are self-managing. They don't need to be managed.
Because on my website,
if once they know what to
automatically runs
do, they'll
this
figure out how to
page,
do it. They don't
this
need
video.
to be managed at all.
It's just, you can hear that. So if I just close this one and then say, okay, the Google was open, my Web University chapter 4 is open, and then NASA is open, just proportional with it. How nice it is, right? So a bunch of requests in OS modules, and we wrote a very nice app to just open as many application as you want within a browser, but automatically. You don't have to do this one. This URL list could go any website. So you just change it, and then you have a very short list of commands to do a very good job. You could have this Python script even on the command line. If I just do this one and just say copy this one, let's say copy this one, and I could just say go ahead and PowerShell, and let's see, I'm going to go to C :/demo/program/Python. I'm going to just say I could use any code or anything. I could say code and then Visual Studio Code, and then just open the name of the file I want to save it is called myurls.py. I could say let's say open urls.py. And then if I don't have that name, I could just paste it here. Now notice that syntax is the same on Visual Studio Code. I'm gonna just say put this one. So let's close these ones. It is just now it is there. I could say save it. So under the file save as, you could save it, and then since I named it already, I'm gonna click save, and then I say run. It's gonna run, and then it opens the browser, and then it's gonna read the Steve Jobs.
Managing. They don't need to be managed. If they know what, if once they know what to do.
So I close this one. It's on Google. I could search on Google, say Anaconda, it is there, and then I could search for Python. I could go to MyWebUniversity and start practicing commands on MyWebUniversity, process stream 3 and everything. And then I say, okay, that's great, and let's go to NASA. It's there. I could go to jpl.nasa.gov. All of those ones are at your fingertips. So the whole internet is for free available for you. So now if I just save this one, I saved it already. I'm gonna close this one. Now since this open URL is there, you open URL is there, directory of open URLs.py. Where did I save it in? Code, okay, and the directory where I created. So when I save it, I have to do save it as to this directory. So somehow I did not save it in that directory. I'm going to just save it as. File. Let me just make sure that. Okay, so this is the one, and then I'm gonna say file save as. Save as, and then I'm gonna just see it is created under demo program files Python. And then somehow it was giving the same name, but I was not able to find it. Let's see why it did not show it. So this Zoom is blocking my eyes, and now I can see open URL, and the path that I'm doing is there. So let's exit out of this one, and now do a door of open, and then do this. Yeah, open URL is there. So now I could say Python open URL. It is running from command line also. And then again, Steve Jobs comes
Rich
in.
people are self-managed.
Talks
They don't
about-
need to be managed. If they know what, if once they know what to do, they'll go figure out how to do it. They don't need to be managed at all. What they need is a common vision. And that's what leadership is. What leadership is having a vision, being able to articulate that so the people around you can understand it, and getting a consensus on a common vision. We wanted people that were insanely great at what they did. But we're not necessarily those seasoned professionals, but who had at the tips of their fingers and in their passion, the latest understanding of where technology was and what we could do with that technology.
Okay, so if you haven't subscribed, go to our videos and watch it and join us, and then that would be great. Subscription is for free, and then it will be free forever. So just continue watching and learning it. I would really appreciate if you share the knowledge with your friends and loved ones, as well as share these videos. I have more than 1,500 videos, and so you're welcome to join and watch it. It is topics of Python, C, C++, operating system, such as Linux, Red Hat, Windows subsystems, Kali Linux, or Linux Ubuntu, Linux Red Hat, Rocky, MySQL database, Anaconda, Conda, PEP, and R language programming, MariaDB, data frames and R's, and also in Pythons, and then Pandas, and so you can name it. There's a lot of videos here. Object-oriented programming, tutorials on Debian, tutorials on PowerShell, online documentation. There's thousands of stuff. Bash scripting, whether you're a system administrator, senior, junior level, there's something for you here that you can get it. There's a lot of books that I have under the list of the videos. You could see under populars. Some of my popular videos, like this one, is 4 hours video. The entire course is from zero to hero on Red Hat Enterprise Linux. A lot of people like it, and a lot of people are watching it. Similarly for Rocky Linux, similarly for PDF, how to do it. Solaris operating system, Linux advanced levels, XTerm sessions, and Linux scripting, Bash scripting, Fedora, you can name it. There's Bash scripting, Solaris operating system, and then what is PS1, a lot of the things, Linux Ubuntu. This course is about 6 hours long, so you're welcome to learn a lot from it, okay? And so if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And if you sometimes want to see some juggling, touching with my son and my son's friends, and then I have some videos there for fun for them. And then you're welcome to enjoy your life. And then God bless you all. Take care. Bye-bye.